so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Feels so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good. Feels so good when you treat me like no other, no other. Feels so good when you call me your lover, your lover. Feels so good, one lucky brother, lucky brother. It feels so good, oh yeah, it feels so good.
Hi everybody and welcome back to the Nona Love YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about Losing Lerato. Losing Lerato was released last year. Losing Lerato was released last year, 2019, in cinemas theatrically, but then it was re-released this year on DSTV for, well, the rest of the people of the country. And it is a film by Kagiso Modupe. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But it's a film by Kagiso Modupe. Most people know him as Umangi from, well, including me, Umangi from Scandal. He produced this film and and also he acts as the lead character in the film. Now, before I get into this review, I just want to first break down how I'm going to approach this review. First, I'm going to talk about this review as a filmmaker, and then I'm also going to talk about this review as why do I keep on saying this review? I'm also going to talk about this film as a fan of film. So I'm going to start off as a filmmaker and then a fan of film. As a filmmaker, firstly, just want to start off by saying congratulations and hats off and kudos on all the lovely pleasantries towards Kagiso for making this film and being able to make this film. Why am I saying this? Is because for most of you that don't know, for most people who are not in film or TV or production or anything like that, people who are mostly usually the audience, it's very easy to see a film or a show or anything, a music video, and you're like, oh, that's nice, or that's not nice, or whatever the case is, right? But it's a lot of work that goes into making a film. It's a lot of work that goes into producing a show, a music video, or whatever, commercial. It is very difficult. It is very, very, very difficult. It's like even crazy to even try and make a movie, right? And I just want to start off by saying the fact that this film was even completed, independently funded. He even sold his house. I think he said he even sold his car, which he shouldn't do, by the way. I think even he doesn't advocate for that. But he managed to get all of that, because things turned out well for him. But this just shows how difficult it is to actually make a film. It is increasingly impossible. And if you are even lucky to be able to finish one, a decent one, even at the least, you've done an amazing job. So I want to say that to Kagiso, just congratulations and hats off and kudos to him for that. It's also even more difficult to try and make a film while you are the lead character in the film, the lead actor in the film. Because just being a lead actor in general, just trying to carry the entire film as the lead actor is also very difficult. So you basically played both heavy scenes in front and behind the camera. And as much as he, according to the credits, he didn't write it, but he did come up with the story. He produced it. If you don't know what producing is, it's basically being in charge of everything when it comes to actually making a film or music video or short film or whatever you can possibly think of. And I can imagine basically what he went through. And then last but not least, I also want to touch on and congratulate him. I don't know whether you guys saw, I think it was last year when these news were released, that Kagiso was the first South African producer in film to actually pay royalties to his actors, which is very, very, very important. If most of you don't know, that is quite not a thing yet in South Africa fully, to pay royalties to your actors in whether in film or in TV. And for him to do something like that and know that whatever happens to this film in terms of revenue, the actors are always going to be set and they're going to get what they signed up for and what they're due for. And however this film is distributed, licensed, if other countries want to buy the film and licenses via their own platforms, actors are always going to be taken care of. And that's really amazing. That's very commendable, right? And this film, by the way, has made it all over around the world. So I'm sure most people who are part of it are very happy. So yeah, that's basically what I just wanted to say as a filmmaker. Kudos, amazing job. And yeah, I just wish to see more of this and even more and better. And now I'm just going to transition into talking about this film as a fan of film, right? And I want to start off by saying, for the most part, I enjoyed losing Lerato. Now, I had my gripes with it, as I have my gripes with almost anything under the sun. Now, one of the biggest gripes I had with this film is, once again, I think you guys are going to be hearing a lot of this on this channel for most of the reviews that I'm going to be doing, is the writing. The writing, I have a few problems with it. It is, once again, another thing you're going to be hearing maybe quite a lot on this channel. It had the potential of being a good story, in my opinion, in my eyes. There is something there. It's a great concept. However, I do feel like it is heavily let down by its writing. Its writing could have been stronger. And what do I mean when I say that? What am I talking about when I say that? Well, firstly, let's start with the characters. The lead character being Kagiso himself. We've given most about Kagiso. The character development of most characters, including his character, happens in a scene, in a bus scene through exposition, you know, where he technically dictates his entire past and current situation back to us in, like, I don't know how many minutes it was. It was pretty long. It was pretty long. It was a very long speech. And I get that could have been, you know, an interesting thing to want to explore, and, you know, I mean, I don't know, man, but I'm very much still in the school of show, don't tell. Or if you do tell, try to be as not forward as possible about it. You can say what happened to a character. Character can say, I experienced this happened, but to have an entire speech based on giving us the backstory on who they are, instead of like telling us or giving us certain visual cues and little nuggets where we get to understand when the character reacts like this, and you can connect it to something else, and you're like, oh, this is who this character is and this is why. And because of that, there was even a character on the bus who's kind of like interrogating the character of Kagiso and asking him, like, what's wrong? How did you end up here? You know, these questions where it's like, once again, I feel like we could either be shown this, or if we're going to be told, let's be told in a less obvious way. You know, it's almost like there's a character that is standing in for the audience to just ask questions like, who's this character? Where are they coming from? What happened to them? You know, and I feel like trying to flesh out a character like that is kind of like not the best way you can do it. There are many other subtle and very much effective and powerful ways. The character Lerato in the film is also another character where I feel like the motive behind whatever it is that she did in the film and how things ended up the way they ended up is like, I don't know, man. She is not as deep of a character as a character in her situation could be, you know. It felt very much like she was being villainized, which obviously she's kind of like the villain of the film, or even the main character is the villain of the film. But it's almost like they're trying to make her this irredeemable character, where even when she dictates to the screen what's the deal with her, I kind of like, I don't care. I don't get it. I don't care. I don't, like, you know how a film is usually as strong as its villain. You know how they usually say that is because there must be some motivation or motive behind the villain's character, the antagonist character in this case, to be like, okay, I mean, what they did is messed up, but I mean, I totally support them. And to just totally douche out a character is like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like, once again, it was a film that had a lot of potential, but it was heavily let down by its writing. There were flashback scenes in the film that just, there were a few of these moments where they don't connect to anything. They don't tie up to anything. There's a character of a detective in the film, and then these flashbacks that just keep on happening, and you're like, okay, I'm interested in seeing what's happening here. And as the film progresses, you get to the end and you're like, there's absolutely no need for that, like zero. The film could have existed and been lighter and better probably without those flashback scenes, because simply they didn't tie them up properly at the end and, you know, kind of like stress the significance of them. I feel like something was trying to be said, but right now I couldn't even try and tell you what was trying to be said with those flashback scenes. And then obviously other things would just be me nitpicking about maybe like the acting here and there. Oh, here's another thing that I was kind of like, I see a lot in South African films. I see a lot actually in South African films is using South African slang to try and, I don't know, heighten your film, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's how we speak. But you can kind of tell when a line is just being shoved in there for the sake of treating a South African slang as a punchline, you know, where I don't know why I can't think of anything right now, but you hear someone use, you know, general everyday language in a film or character in a film, not necessarily out of context, but almost sort of like, well, there wasn't a need for you to react like that or say that or say those words or, you know, say that word or whatever, that phrase. It just feels like you said it for the sake of trying to be relevant or the sake of trying to be edgy or funny or making your character seem edgy or funny. And I don't know, I see it a lot. I see it a lot in film where it doesn't necessarily fit the scene or even like the context of that particular instance. And then the character will just say something and you can just like, okay, I mean, I guess if that's what you want to do. And then something I did like about this film is, like I said, obviously the concept of the film. There are not enough of these stories, well, maybe there are, but not in film at least. There are not enough of these stories that open up conversations around, you know, the weird things that happen in the world and specifically in this country. And, you know, the relationship between a father and a daughter, the weird things that just happen in relationships in general that can cause two people who were once maybe in love and, you know, created life together to then separate and go different ways, right? There are many of these stories that could be told, not just that, but in general other stories. So in terms of concept, I really did like that. But like I said, I do feel like the concept was let down by the writing. Like I said, I feel like the movie could have given us more. I know a lot of people were happy with it. I don't personally hate it, but I do feel like if maybe the screenplay was given a bit more love, they spent more time with the story and fleshing out the characters better, we would have gotten a way stronger film than we got. But also, like, I don't want to kick the movie down, you know, and bash it, because I was looking at even how the plot of the film unfolds. You think something's going to happen and it doesn't necessarily happen that way, and the film ends at a specific place. And I was thinking to myself, considering that this is an independently funded film, and as I said at the beginning of this video, making a movie is difficult, especially if you don't have money. I can understand how things might have played out the way they played out, how things might have, because sometimes you really have to write within your budget. Sometimes, not sometimes, actually quite often, like most of the time, if you don't have racks, if you don't have money, if you don't have the bag, you kind of have to, you know, like alter the story to fit your environment, to fit your pocket, to fit whatever you have, and write it to, you know, fit snugly into that so that you can eventually, you know, make the film. But apart from that, Losing Lerato is a good film. If you haven't watched it, I think you can go check it out. I think it's on DSTV now. Right now, maybe it's on Showmax. Actually, I didn't check before shooting this review, but I know it's on DSTV now and catch up. You can go check this film out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I just have my problems with it here and there. However, overall, for its existence, I'm very much grateful. I'm very happy it turned out the way it turned out. I'm very happy it exists for many people, and the jobs it created and the opportunities it created, and also just being able to, you know, maintain that level of independence and making a film of that magnitude is amazing. It's an amazing thing. You know, you can't take that away. That's a very impressive thing, and I'd like to see more films from Kagiso as a producer, even maybe as a director or whatever, but I'd like to see more from him, because, you know, I believe there's a lot he has to tell, and, you know, with time you can only get better, man. But yeah, that's basically about it, guys. If you haven't checked this film out, go check it out. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. If you've checked the film out, comment down below right now. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share this video. If you did not hate this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it. It helps me get discovered. If you hated this video, ignore it, pretend you never saw it, and just carry on with your life. I promise you nothing will happen. And yeah, that's basically about it, guys. Subscribe, comment, like, share. Let's try and reach 500 subscribers. I'm sorry for being away for so long. I'm back. There are more videos coming, and yeah, see you on the next video.